Hello, I am Mohammed Omar Mohammed by name from Nigeria with my colleague Mary Menya from Zambia. We are group five members, and the negative aspect of the debate topic: should African militaries fund genetic research to enhance soldier performance and resilience? You will hear our view from us. Introduction: genetic enhancement of soldiers is increasingly discussed in global security and biotechnology policy. While it promises improved performance, it also introduces profound ethical, medical, and security challenges. Parasides 2023 and Seng and Zong 2025 highlighted that countries with far stronger infrastructure than Africa are still struggling to develop safe governance systems for genetic enhancement. Given these challenges, we argue that African military should not fund genetic research aimed at enhancing soldier performance and resilience. Opening statement: genetic enhancement of soldier is unsafe, ethically problematic, and strategically dangerous for African nations. Military environment lack the conditions necessary for genuine informed consent, as shown in analysis like the Super Soldier Perspective 2025. Oversight systems, regulatory frameworks, and medical infrastructure remain insufficient to manage the risks of CRISPR and other gene editing technologies, according to Parasites 2023. Instead of improving security, genetic enhancement could create instability, inequality, and long-term health consequences that militaries are never prepared to handle. These are constructive arguments. Argument 1: ethical risks and human dignity. Genetic enhancement undermines core principles of autonomy, dignity, and voluntary consent. Military ethics literature shows that hierarchical institutions make voluntary consent extremely difficult, placing soldiers at risk of coercion, according to Solmasi et al. 2018. Further analysis warns that enhancement programs can dehumanize soldiers, making them a tool of performance rather than people. These concerns show that enhancement programs will violate ethical standards of autonomy, dignity, and respect for person. Argument 2: long-term medical and genetic risk. Gene editing and epigenetic modification carry unpredictable long-term effects. Delp et al. 2023 showed that enhancement may change physical or cognitive traits in ways we cannot fully understand and anticipate. Research in molecular genetics by Lee et al. 2023 further notes that CRISPR remains scientifically unstable, carrying risks of off-target mutation, which could produce harmful genetic changes. African militaries currently lack advanced monitoring systems required to track long-term consequences, manage genetic failures, or support affected soldiers and their families. Argument 3: weak regulatory capacity and governance gaps. Even technologically advanced countries struggle enough to regulate human enhancement. Talk more or talk less of African countries, as illustrated by Chan and Zhang 2025. International human rights reviews emphasize the absence of a global framework governing enhancement in military context. Analysis of military genomics further indicate that African states lack national oversight bodies capable of monitoring such sensitive programs. Without strong governance, enhancement programs could spark into human rights violation, uncontrolled research, and poor accountability. Argument 4: security threat, misuse risks, and social inequalities. Genetic technologies are dual use, meaning they can be weaponized or misused. Security analysis warn that CRISPR and similar techniques could accelerate arms race dynamics, increasing regional and global tension and instability. Genetic enhancement programs could create a two-tier military where enhanced soldiers receive better opportunities than others, harming fairness, morale, and unity within African armed forces. Researchers note that once genetic data influence military decision, both subtle and structural discrimination can easily emerge, as reported by Parker and Lucy, 2021. These programs also require large genomic databases, exposing soldiers to serious privacy and data security risks, including unauthorized access or long-time surveillance, according to Robert, 2014. This makes genetic enhancement a threat not only to national security but also to social cohesion and human rights within African armed forces. Argument 5, misallocation of resources and long-term medical burden. African militaries face resource constraints and operational challenges all the time. Funding costly genetic enhancement programs diverts money from proven urgent priorities such as training, nutrition, equipment, and soldier welfare, according to Shang 2024. That shows that uh, it's a priority misplacement for African militaries to fund genetic research for soldier performance and resilience. This proven investment already strengthened performance without the risks of experimental technologies. Beyond the financial burden, genetic modification creates lifelong medical responsibilities. If soldiers experience adverse effects after service, militaries must provide monitoring, treatment, and compensation. Ethical analysis show that many African systems already struggle to meet existing veterans' healthcare need, as reported by Pasternak 2017. This makes genetic enhancement both financially unrealistic and medically unsustainable for African militaries. Rebuttal. Affirmative team argues that genetic research will protect soldier health and points to the Malawi study as an evidence. This is our response. The Malawi project was a controlled health screening exercise. It is not a genetic enhancement program. Scaling up scaling this up across African militaries will require a very strong ethics system, data protection, and advanced regulation, which most countries do not yet have. Without these safeguards, genetic research can lead to misuse, discrimination, and privacy risks for soldiers. The Malawi example doesn't justify full genetic enhancement program. It only shows that basic health monitoring can work, not high-risk genetic modifications. The affirmative team says genetic research improves readiness, again using the Kenya Defense Force for example. The Kenya example, just like the Malawi case, was not a genetic enhancement in any way. It was simply genetic screening used to adjust training routines. It did not modify soldiers. Moving from screening to full genetic enhancement requires strong laws, ethics boards, secure biobanks, and long-term medical support system that many African militaries do not have. Without these, the risks of data misuse, discrimination, and medical burdens are too much. The evidence given actually supports improving training, not launching risky genetic enhancement programs. The affirmative team claims that genetic testing is a one-time cost that saves money on long-term healthcare evacuation and replacement. This argument is misleading because it mixes up genetic screening for health research with genetic enhancement programs. Enhancement requires advanced laboratories, continuous monitoring, lifetime medical care, secure databases, and specialist staff. These are recurring costs, not one-time expenses. Studies in military bioethics show enhancement programs become long-term financial burden, not savings. Instead of saving money, this program can drain military budget and reduce readiness. The affirmative team says enhanced soldiers will perform better in peacekeeping and disasters. Operational strength comes from training, logistics, equipment, and teamwork, not risky genetic modification. Peacekeeping requires discipline, negotiation skills, protection of civilians, and mental resilience. None of this can be safely engineered through genes. If enhancement causes side effects, inequality, or health failures, it can actually weaken peacekeeping performance and damage trust with communities. The safer and proven investment is better training, nutrition, and equipment, not experimental genetic alteration in any way. The affirmative claims that genetic can protect soldiers from bioweapon and PTSD. This argument is scientifically unrealistic. Bioweapon resistance cannot be engineered through genetics. Protection depends on vaccines, equipment, and strong surveillance, not gene editing. There is also no single PTSD or mental strain gene. Mental health is shaped, training, trauma, and environment, not genetics. Trying to profile soldiers this way leads to stigma, discrimination, and the dangerous misuse of sensitive genetic data. Uh, my closing statement, genetic enhancement of soldiers present ethical violation, unpredictable health effects, regulatory gaps, and major security risks. Research in military ethics, biotechnology, and international human rights consistently show that African militaries are not prepared medically or institutionally to manage such programs. For the safety, dignity, and long-term well-being of African soldiers, we firmly oppose military-funded genetic enhancement. These are references from which we sought our our informations. Thank you.